Hello, good evening. I wanted to tell you all about how I came to this church and came to know Jesus. I love this church because before coming here, my life was empty. I had no knowledge of God. I didn't know anything about Him because none of the churches around me had interpreters or anything in sign language. My family situation is difficult, and I was often very discouraged, sad, and isolated. The devil tempted me to believe that I could never understand the Bible or know who God really is. I wanted to understand the Bible, but couldn't read it because my understanding of written Portuguese was minimal. I knew absolutely nothing about the Bible. I was tempted to give up. But then one day, my interpreter, Raquel, invited me to go to church with her. I was curious to know more and experience an interpreted church service. I attended that first Sunday, and the message was clear to me as Ellie interpreted. I understood for the first time that I was a sinner, what it meant to believe in Jesus, to repent of my sins, to have a saving relationship with Christ and be transformed by His power. From that first day, I have faithfully attended church services, learning more and more of what it means to be saved, to be transformed. I learned the importance of the Bible. Ellie began teaching me on a weekly basis, beginning with Genesis and going through the Bible. I began to understand who God is and His plan for salvation. She introduced me to various people in the Bible. I also began meeting with the pastor of the church and being discipled by him. Through Ellie's interpretation of the church services and the pastor's discipleship, I began to understand the gospel message and understand who Jesus was and what He did for me. I understood that Jesus is Emmanuel, God with us, that through Him we can have a restored relationship with God. We are joint heirs with Him and adopted into God's family. I had this knowledge, and in April of this year, I fully understood. God, by His grace, changed my heart. I know that it was Him and Him alone who transformed me. He caused my heart to believe in Jesus, repent of my sin, ask for Jesus' forgiveness, and in the moment that I trusted in Him, I received His righteousness, was pardoned, washed clean, and counted as righteous by God. I experienced a joy and right away desired to be baptized in obedience to Christ, identifying with Him in His death, burial, and resurrection. I wanted to show that I was washed clean, that my old flesh, with every sin I had committed against God, had been nailed to the cross. That Jesus had paid my debt and given me the free gift of salvation, that I had been transformed, and that it was only Jesus that could do this, take my place, pay my debt, that it was completely and only His work in my life. I am learning from Him day by day and want to be more and more like Him. By God's grace, I will continue to be transformed into His likeness. I am so grateful to Him, grateful for all I've learned and for having an interpreter who has explained these truths to me clearly in my own language. Grateful to my pastor in this church.